Welcome to today's episode of the Discourse Junction, where we dive deep into the evolving landscape of Canada over the past decade. In this episode, we explore how much has changed in our country, from shifting immigration policies to growing concerns over rising crime rates, deteriorating healthcare, and other pressing issues that have become impossible to ignore. To help unpack these challenges, I am joined by a very special guest, a former government minister with first-hand experience in policy making and the complexities of running a province. Together, we'll discuss how Canada has been shaped by these changes, what we have learned, and what lies ahead for the future of this great nation. Stay tuned for a candid and thought-provoking conversation on the state of Canada today. Thank you for doing this, Naresh ji. This whole interview, I will be addressing you as Naresh ji, just out of respect. I'm not rubbing it in the age difference. I just don't want to call you this that. So yes, I would like to touch two things that you said. You said that these challenges that we are facing today, they have been in the history. Let's start from, has it gotten any better or worse? And why is that?
I think what you see today in terms of let's look at law and order, please, as an example.
Yes.
Law and order in the last 5, 6, 7 years have absolutely deteriorated. If you look at the crime rate, right, it has progressively gone higher and higher in the list. The reason being, the criminals, for some reason, seem to think that they have more rights than Joe Public. There's no fear in their minds that, hey, if they get caught, what are the consequences?
That's the only reason they do not fear the law.
There are no consequences, not enough to put them away for a long period of time, not enough for them to be fearful that, hey, if I do this crime, I'm gone.
Right.
I don't know when I'm coming back out. I absolutely think if that is there, it will be, if that is in people's heads, they will think twice before committing those crimes.
Definitely.
Now, there are other challenges when we're looking at crime. There are also mental health issues. 30% of Canadians, 30% are suffering from mental health of some sort, which are also contributing to some of the stuff we're seeing today. So we look at it two different aspects of it. One, you look at a crime who are repeat offenders, right? Regardless, 50 days or say, they need to be put away and the key thrown away.
Right.
It cannot be a revolving door.
Right.
That you're in today, with the 24 hours, you're out on the bail. Cannot be. Absolutely not. They're gone. Now, you hear this all the time. Police is giving a warning. So-and-so is being released in this community, and they're likely to re-offend. But why are we releasing them? Why? Who's driving you to release them?
The law.
Is it weak?
Yes, that's what I.
Weak laws are driving you. The judges are making those decisions based on the precedents which have been set previously, or whatever is in front of them. We, the governments of the day today, look at the Liberal government. It has become a joke. Not only Canadian joke, but we have become an international joke when it comes to law and order in Canada. So, to your question, is this the Canada what we saw even 10 years ago to what we see today? Is it the same? The answer is no. People came here. My parents came here. You probably came here for better life, right? Better life for yourself, better life for your future generations. But when you look at this law and order, if you are fearful to walk out of your home, well, is that what you chose? Because some of us came here by choice. My kids are born here. I didn't have a choice. But my parents had a choice when they came here. You had a choice as an adult when you came here.
I just cannot leave this unmentioned as a matter of choice. The young kid, I'm not putting out his name, although that's a in public domain. The young kid who came to Edmonton, who was got shot like 3 days back. Yeah, that's a very tragic situation. Eh, I really feel for his parents. I came here for the better life. When as an immigrant, you can put yourself in the perspective, and then you feel some things that a normal. I mean, no offense, the person who's born here cannot. But yes, this and those were also the repeat offenders who committed that crime.
Absolutely.
So this situation is worrisome and it is getting out of hands, and people are concerned about what's going to happen or about their citizens.
So this is what happens. It doesn't matter what country you're in and what government of the day is. When people get fed up, ultimately, who holds the power to change the government?
People do.
People do. People have that power to make sure that they change for better.
Right.
Make sure they're bringing in people who understand these issues
Right.
and being able to deliver on these issues. Take those issues to Ottawa as an example, some of the federal laws,
Correct.
and look at provincially, take them to the provincial legislature and take them to the city halls across the province, to make sure that the issues we had, they're unique. Edmonton issues are unique, even though crime is right across Canada.
Yeah.
But there are some unique issues which are in Millwoods, as an example, or in Southwest Edmonton, or different parts of Edmonton. We, as the citizens, need to be mindful of not only our local issues, but the broader issue, right? And we need to make sure that people ultimately have the power to make that happen and make sure that happens.
Uh, Mr. Polyev, he has got a very strong talking game, a very strong talking game. I do not see as a good communicative leader. I can see as good communicative leader can on the other side of both the parties. How do people trust that it's not only the talking game and he can really deliver what he's talking?
Look, people need to, the incoming governments, they all have incoming parties, or whoever, whether we call them a prime minister in waiting, they all have their party platforms. Okay. Whether it's axing the tax, as an example, or, tough on crime, affordability, and some of the other issues, whether they're environmental issues and other issues. People need to evaluate that. By and large, and I've heard this, more than once from different people. When economy is in the state what they are today, people by and large singularly look at conservative governments because they can steer the economies in the proper direction. When there's such a huge issue on law and order, conservative governments are known for their record on law and order. And I'm very positive Pierre Poilievre should be able to deliver on some of the stuff he's promising because, the track record of the previous predecessors and the conservative governments in general, when you look at it, worldwide, not just only in Canada, worldwide, that's what they're known for.
Yeah.
And I know this for a fact that people look at similarly towards conservative governments to fix some of these issues. And I'm always positive that's what the Canadians today are looking for.
You know why I asked this question? Because later, the other day, he was saying that when we are negotiating with the United States, we gotta come from the power of strength and just from the power of
Hunters?
and that really, I believe that really resonated with most of the people who were hearing it, even though if they do not support him, but that's what we want as a Canada to be. Do you think immigration has played an important role in growing the population to where the Canada is right now, like 41 million?
Look, we as a nation cannot survive without immigrants.
Okay.
Okay, our growth rate is below replacement.
That's exactly 1.3%. Yes.
If it's below replacement, we're not even replacing the people who are, passing away.
Okay.
So we need immigration. However, can we be selective? Can we be bringing in people as we need them or what we need? Every single institution and industry have their forecasts. Okay, this is what we're going to need in terms of the mechanics, in terms of the teachers, in terms of the medical professionals, and so on and so on. Okay, that's how we run our institutions. Okay, we know it. Now, sometimes, the life in general throws curveball at us. As an example, Alberta last year netted 200,000 people. We didn't anticipate that.
Right.
But we had our own struggles even getting to that beforehand.
Yeah.
So, should we have been careful? Were we ready for it? The answer is no. We were not ready to take 200,000 extra people. It's putting pressure on our infrastructure, medical professionals, schools, anything and everything. Even if you start building a school today, it's going to take you 3 or 4 years by the time you get there. So, do we need immigration? Absolutely. Do we need to make sure that it's properly managed? Absolutely. This is where the current government has gone wrong. They opened the floodgates, bringing in whether they're students, whether they're temporary foreign workers, whoever wanted to come, the floodgates were open. Post-secondary institutions, with all due respect, and even a Canadian economy as a whole, were netting almost $30+ billion economically. It was a huge economic booster. But now, all of a sudden, they're starting to roll back. And some of the reasons, because the world is watching. It's not just local. The world is watching. And I think it was at the UN, they said that Canada is a breeding ground for contemporary slavery. They were talking about the temporary foreign worker program.
Right.
And this is when the minister of the day said, well, I don't agree with that statement. Yes, we do have our challenges, but I don't agree with that particular statement. I think it was a huge wake-up call for. They woke up and started to roll back and, X number percentage changes, majority changes happened in Ontario in terms of the student population. Alberta and the western provinces ended up gaining some. Well, are we ready in the western provinces? Is Alberta ready for that? Is British Columbia ready? Is Saskatchewan ready? Could that have been a better coordinated with our rural institutions? Absolutely. They had to be integral part of making sure that when they're coming here, we're taking full advantage of that. Right. Now that they're here, next year, you're looking at, what is it? Almost 4.9 million visas are expiring. Yes, temporary foreign workers or others. Huge. Are they going to go back? Should we be sending them back?
I'd say if they are not eligible, yes, we should.
Well, you know something? But we're still bringing more people in.
Yes.
So, should we be selective then? People who are here, who have the tangible skills, could they be utilized?
Well, they could have done this from the very first thing. Like you told me about your father, like he was part of this program, like he was a skilled worker, and he came to India as he came to Canada as a skilled worker, right?
Absolutely.
Why could we not stick to the same?
100%.
Everybody is asking this question.
But it's not just the skilled workers, though. It is the students who, when the floodgates were open,
Yeah.
there's so much, there's so much population of students here who came here, obviously, with a mission in mind. At some point, I want to live in Canada.
Yeah.
I want Canada to be my home. Their ambitions, their dreams are also right now being challenge.
No, I totally, yes, I totally get what you're saying, because I see immigration as a partnership between an applicant and the government. So, for example, if I want to move to Canada, I am coming here in search of better life, good quality of living, and in return, the government of Canada is getting a worker who will be paid tax to the country and contribute.
Absolutely.
But when the students nowadays are coming here, okay, and they are coming to study, but then later on, the problems like, forget the students, the normal people are also not able to find the jobs right now, right? And that is also a stress. That's like a, they've been lied to or sold the fake Canadian dream that, okay, come here and you will get it. Nowadays, it's not the same as it was.
Look, when you're talking about a sold, a fake dream, I don't think that is true. I don't agree with that. When you're coming to this country, it is your job to make sure you do your due diligence.
Yes.
But they were not aware of in sudden change in government policy.
Okay.
What they're not aware of is sudden change in government policy.
But isn't that change can happen? Sorry, I'm cutting you. Isn't that change can happen anytime? Like,
It can. But this is where we went wrong. The Canadian government as a whole. When I talk about opening floodgates, you're bringing in people, without really proper checks and balances, or without doing proper checks,
right,
checking proper credentials,
right.
without checking proper eyelets. All of that
Yep.
was not being properly checked.
As a proof of this, we saw that they had, like, they're assuming 14,000 fake uh, acceptance letters given to the applicants of the student visa, and they entered the Canada.
So those are some of the challenges I'm talking about.
Great.
Whose job is it? First and foremost, that's the job of the government. Why are you letting those people in?
Yeah.
Why are you bringing in more people? The sad part on all of this years, and I'm on record on this here, we, the governments of the day, regardless what province you're in, your job is to make sure your post-secondary institutions are properly funded. They must not be using money from students
Right.
to subsidize their operational budgets. They must not be doing that. And if that's what starts to happen, we run into all kinds of other problems. So, yes, they had a dream here. Okay? If somebody was to say that they were sold a false dream, I don't necessarily agree with that. They had a dream, they wanted to come here, things have gone sideways. Unemployment, look at Alberta. Huge challenge. 7-8% is unheard of.
Yes.
Unheard of. And yet, the economy is crazy. Like, we're having issues. Affordability is an issue. Crime is an issue. Where have we gone wrong?
Yeah.
Where's the problem? Let's, people, fix the problem. Let's take a look at it. Don't randomly, start cutting immigration as an example. You cut 30%, you cut a 40%, you cut 50%. Well, those people who are here, there's also something called population momentum. Even if you bring it down to zero today, it's going to take you a couple of years or more to even things out.
Yes.
If you're gone here with all this population coming behind you, it's not going to go negative all of a sudden. Even bring the graph to zero, it's going to take you some time for that population momentum to even things out. You're still bringing in people. That's where the challenge is. That's where people need to think. People who are here today, can they be reevaluated? Yes. Can they be tied up with the where their skill set is appropriately matched? Yes. Could they be retrained since they're here? Maybe a couple of years of education? Yes. Those are the things the governments need to think about and need to be very strategic about.
Do you think this is a do you think this is possible for any government of the day to retrain people as per their need? For example, if we need certain, if we need nurses, for example, and we have these students here and who have the similar background but not up to the mark education qualification. Is it possible to like cherry pick and do that?
No.
So, can you elaborate what?
Jan, you can't. You need to have the attitude and the aptitude and the proper educational background. You can't just randomly pick. If the desire to be trained as a nurse is not there, you don't have the proper background in sciences or whatever else is required.
Right.
How are you going to do that? If you want to be a mechanic, if you don't have the aptitude, if you don't have that desire to get your hands dirty, you're not going to be able to train you.
Right.
If you don't have the proper background, educational background to get to that level, you don't have the eye-hand coordination if you want to be a welder, so you can't randomly say, hey, you go this way. You can't. Yes, people, the desire of the people needs to be there. Because if you force people to do things, it doesn't last long. They don't enjoy it. The life becomes miserable. People need to understand, okay, this is the profession, this is the trades, this is where I want to be. I could be good at it. Not everybody. And I say this all the time without any hesitation. If you're a tradesperson, you'll never ever be unemployed in Alberta. I say that all the time because you can do something. Yeah, they are similar. I taught automotives. My background, like when I was going through university, when I was going through, I was math set, quite passionate about it. But I was a journeyman before that. I switched to vocational education. I ended up teaching not just, yes, I only taught math phys for the first couple of years. I taught trades. I taught, very last 2016, I ended up teaching industrial education where I taught construction, which I had never done before. But I'm a trades guy.
All right.
Hey, did I know how to read a blueprint? Absolutely. Could I do it? 100%. Yes, I had to train myself,
Yeah.
but it's easy because I had the basic skills to do that. So, yes, you can't randomly pick that, hey, you're going to go here. Yes, people need to from here.
Yeah.
That, hey, I could do this. I want to do this, not just because I need. I want to do this for a longer time career. Absolutely.
Uh, you touched about the Alberta Medical Association thing when you were telling about your history. Do you think the gap or the things that our healthcare system is going through today, is that fixable? Like, can we get a lot of doctors in lesser amount of time, or do we actually need that? Because the waiting times are getting long and long every day.
So, the quickest way to fix that, we have thousands of foreign trained, let's look at medical professionals who are here.
Yes.
Let's look at Alberta and even Canada.
Okay.
The politicians need to have a backbone to be able to fix it. If you look, let's take Alberta as an example. When I was as a parliamentary secretary in health, we were looking at that. We were looking at rural sustainability for doctors because rural hospitals are closing, not enough medical staff there.
Okay.
If there are foreign trained medical professionals here, they're doing I think there was maybe that they've done consulting. I think it's Bill 203, but equivalency, medical equivalency, and all that bill. I met with the MLA personally. I said that bill's been consulted to death. What are you doing over and over and over and over?
Right.
You, as a government, needs to come up with a solution, a proposal. Okay, I'm going to give you the regulatory bodies 3 months. Here's what I'm proposing, we are proposing as a government. You either make some changes to this or this is going to be implemented. Okay, you watch. It will be done. You watch, it will be done. Has it done before? Yes. Give you an example. Back in the 60s, there was a major shortage of teachers in Alberta. Let's just take a look at Alberta.
Okay.
They asked for teachers. Teachers came here from all over the globe, right? Including India. Superintendents went to the airport to pick up the teachers, gave them temporary teaching certificates. Okay. Pair them with a teacher who was Alberta certified, and so they can evaluate them and coach them and help them. On top of that, they gave them teacherages, homes to live in. So
They are provided
it's about supply and demand. So when we look at it, and at the same time, look at Alberta as a whole. What's the population of Alberta? 4.3, 4 million people? Now, every single physician, doctors out there, they're all private businesses.
Right.
They run their own private firms. Now, as a government, what difference does it make whether there are 1,000 doctors or 1,500 doctors?
Right.
None. Okay, if you don't serve my needs, I'm gonna find another one. Find another one. Today, you call a medical office, not accepting new patients.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Yeah.
You end up in emergency.
Yeah.
You look at nurse practitioners. Can they can they fill some of the void? The answer is yes. We'll look at people, sometimes talk about, oh, it's all they're privatizing healthcare and this and that. If we don't start thinking, look, I'm not proposing, advocating for private health. As long as you're not paying out of pocket, government is paying for it, well, swap on it.
Yes.
Who runs it? What does it matter to you? The problem is if you let's look at surgical clinics, which are people are being critical of. Look at surgical clinics. It's not the problem of the surgical clinic is not the issue. Staffing is an issue. Where do you find people? There are a finite number of people, whether they work in a hospital, they work in doctor's office, or they work in surgical clinic. Good example. Okay. We don't have new ones, but if you train new ones, all of a sudden, you start recognizing foreign credentials. Now you got people who can work here, who can provide you the care you need. Are we spending enough money on public health in Alberta? Absolutely. Well, we are. I think, okay, and my numbers could be, tiny bit off. We used to say, I'll use that word, used to say that we're spending $1.2 million every single hour on public health. That's $1.2 million every single hour. Look at it. How many millions our budget is. And we're still not happy. What's going to make us happy? Some changes, broad changes to the system. So when you need healthcare, it's there for you. That's what's needed.
I have a question. I just cannot let it slide. You just touched that the private healthcare system. What my understanding,
I didn't talk about private healthcare system. I said the doctors are privatized. No. Doctors are all private businesses, okay? But you're not paying them out of your pocket.
so when I go see a doctor and the government pays for my visit to the doctor,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
So the government isn't that the government is apprehensive in getting the license to more doctors so that they'll have to pay more?
Why? Let's say 100 people.
Okay.
There's only 100 people.
Uh-huh.
Whether I come to you or go to him, it's still 100 people.
Correct. Yes.
So what all
The number of people who want to go and see the doctor is
who's gonna hurt this?
yes.
Who's gonna get
Here.
Tell me, who's gonna get hurt? Who's gonna be
The doctor.
there? You go.
Doctors.
All of a sudden, the competition is not there.
Right.
It's gonna hurt your pocket.
Okay. You just say it's very personal.
Like your business is gonna go to that person.
Yeah.
Because you're not willing to provide me the care I need. I'm gonna go to that person or that person. Now you got choices.
Right.
Today you don't have a choice.
Yes. Because a normal person under the notion, like you clarified it very in a very good manner. Because I was under the notion that government is gonna pay more, but yes,
It's not go to you and you and you.
yes, same. But government is gonna pay for the patient and not according to the doctor, so it makes sense.
The government's paying for it's per patient.
Yes, it's per patient.
What you do for that. Okay, look, with inflation, with all of the other costs, the cost is rising.
Right.
keeping up with the inflation and everything else. There are challenges. Don't get me wrong. I'm not, saying that doctors are making millions. No. So yeah, we're just talking about, yeah, but you look at the medical professionals who spend years and years and years getting to be where they are, right? Should we be nickeling and diming them? No, they should be fairly compensated for their brain, for their education, for all of it. It's a very, very responsible job. But when we look at that from the other perspective, that you're not in getting a doctor, yes, because they don't have the room for you. Can we create it? Yes. Can we create a challenge and competition? Yes. There was a major shortage when I went through university. They, U of A, as an example, had a huge problem. Graduates of U of A couldn't even write a proper essay. So anybody who graduated for a period of time, I don't know whether the same rule applies to you or not. I don't know currently, but when I graduated, just even a few years before that, you had to write an essay and pass that essay before you got your degree. And me as a teacher, I had to do a speech screening before I get my teaching certification. So it's all about blind demand. On one time, you're picking up teachers from the airport, right, providing them a teach race. But in 1989, you are speech screening them. Can they speak fluently and appropriately to communicate the message? It's all about blind demand.
Uh, you talked about the current government rolling back the immigration things, immigration policies. Definitely, the government is on a bad foot on some of their policies.
All the policy.
I'll say all the policies. I was just mentioning nice. Okay, all the policies.
I don't want to be overly political.
Okay. I have some apprehensions. My first concern is that Mr. Prime Minister then released the video regarding the immigration, and he said that, "Well, we will take these steps, and then the problem will balance itself. The population will balance itself." He has used this terminology once before, and it was budgets balance the budget balance themselves. And that liver turned out to be not true. And this has been a track record of several other people in the same government. How do how do I show my concern, or like, I will put it in this way: how do I trust this government now? Because one, the problem has been created, and he just said that, okay, we did a mistake. But now these methods or these measures that they are taking, there were experts on record saying that this is not going to help at all. Where how do we deal with this situation?
So step one is to acknowledge that there's a problem. Okay, that's step one. Because if you don't think you made a mistake, then you're way off. Step one is acknowledging that, okay, we have taken the wrong course. Right. All right. Now, let's find some ways to rectify this. Have they found that way? I don't think so. I don't think, because you're still bringing in people. You're still not clarifying what you're going to do with people. I mean, you look at what our southern neighbors are saying about us. Hey, strengthen your borders, whether it's human trafficking, whether it's drug trafficking, whether it's securing the borders. That's what that means. That is what that means. To putting on 25% tariffs because they're telling you that, hey, your borders are loose. In terms of the security as a nation, not just Canada, but even as a whole. The current, incoming president of the United States is quite adamant about some of the stuff we're talking about. We have not done a good job, whether it's a border security, whether it's crime, whether it's drug, whether it's trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, the people that look at the fentanyl as it no first days deaths on rice. Look at fentanyl. There are factories here in Canada. Where are they going? They're shaking hands with other cartels, right? Down south. So this we should have been. It's easy to fix something soon as it starts taking root. It's easy to get rid of those weeds. But once they're widespread, it becomes a huge issue. And I think that's where we are today. If the sometimes, it's over the government's head. As I see it today with the current government, they keep flip-flopping on the policies. As you said, they're on the back foot on majority of their policies. Well, would they be able to fix it? Well, I don't have faith that they be able to. There's so much flip flop. There's going to be a change is required. Fresh set of eyes, fresh set of ideas. But ultimately, it's not a politicians. Politicians can give you a broad stroke ideas, but ultimately it's people when they're convinced that hey, it's gone over our head, everything is under control. It's time for new set of ideas. Let's give somebody else a chance. Can that happen? Yeah, that's just ultimately people hold that key.
Since we're talking about the current government, I want to touch this marriage between Liberal and NDP somewhat. Is it working? Is it not working? Is it complicated? Because one day, Mr. Singh on record says that I do not like Justin Trudeau as a president. That's on record. I do not want, sorry, my bad. I do not like Justin Trudeau as a prime minister. I do not want him to be prime minister. And then uh, yesterday there was a call for non-confidence and Mr. Singh did not support it. What do I think about this marriage?
I think they look at the marriage as a disaster for Canadians. Singh is getting what he needs, what he needs to accomplish, whether it's pharmacare, whether it's dental care, whether it's his own pension, whether whatever his agenda is, he is much better able to push that agenda because in the evening he'll have one statement. I'm breaking apart, our agreement. Well, you're supporting it. Yes. Then he'll turn around and they said, well, conservatives are for, they want to take your pension away. They want to take this away. They want to take this, but nonsense. He does not stand on his words. He is absolutely, because if you truly believed that Justin Trudeau and his Liberal government is a disaster in the evening, what changes in the morning? Because you are getting what you want out of him. You're squeezing him for various issues, which you would have never been able to accomplish if this was not a minority government. I say this all the time. Does not matter which government is it, whether unless there's a strong leader in place, you need to have a majority government. Then and only then you push your own agenda, whether it's a conservative agenda, liberal agenda, NDP agenda. When you're compromising your own values as a minority leader, you're compromising your own values. Where do you stand on some of that stuff? Is that your own? No. And this is what's creating a problem because the leader is not strong enough. Has this been successful? Yes. When Prime Minister Harper was there in a minority situation, he negotiated issue by issue. Okay, there comes a time the government falls, it falls. Let it be. Let it be. Don't start compromising on every single issue and falling for that. He's taking full advantage of that. Yeah. And then in the evening, I rip and shred. And then the day, the Justin Trudeau is so horrible they can't trust him. And next morning, he'll be making a comment on conservative government, conservatives. So where does he stand? I think this marriage is a disaster. And you'll see, the time will tell, hopefully in the next election, people are absolutely aware of this, to all this drama.
I agree with that. Looking at the popularity poll that just came out 2 days back. Polls are polls. Polls are snapshot of the day. They just keep on changing.
It's a snapshot of the day.
Okay.
What will happen if the election happens in April, May, June, July, or October? Time will tell what issues of the day are, what people's minds are, how their memories are. But one thing is absolutely clear. When people have it up to here, they're drawn me, they'll change.
Right. Right. Let's talk about our neighbor. When they say that they are gonna put on like 25% tariffs on Canadian goods, how is it gonna affect Canada? Because those goods are gonna cost more in the U.S. market. How is it gonna affect us?
Look, it's going to, if we take a look at it and read some of the analysis, if this was to go through, it will put our economy in recession. If they were to go to a 25%, each Canadian, I think, will end up paying probably a couple thousand, $2,500 more, give or take. Give or take. It will also have reciprocal effect in the US as well. Look, and because they are our largest trading partner, right? When we look at from Alberta's perspective, most of their Midwest refineries get our crude. Our crude. Okay. They are calibrated to refine our crude, Alberta crude. Would they be affected? The answer is yes. Now, what has been talked about, there will be tariffs come the day after he's swears in as a president of the United States. There will be tariffs. There are a lot of things on the table to work for and work towards what they are. Number one, he's quite clear: securing your borders.
Yes.
First and foremost, make sure your borders are secure. Then and only then when we're willing to talk. But he's not just, the agreement between U.S., Canada, and when Mexico comes up in, I think it's 2026. Okay, comes up for renewal. I think the time will tell. But if you look at the president of Mexico, they are much more direct. Because if you do that to us, they're telling you that, hey, we're going to do the same thing to you, and you'll immediately lose 400,000 jobs in the United States.
Right.
So, but Canada is taking a much more subtle approach. Look, I've been saying this for quite some time. If you only have one customer, and soon as that customer says, no, yeah, you can help all, well, it's time. It's time we start looking for other partners, other people, other markets, so we can sell our products to.
US is like we are selling 75% of, like 75% of trade happens with the US. It's around like $580 billion a year. Uh, the thing is that what other options does Canada have? Can be really, due to our geographical location and the weather and stuff. Can we really do that?
Well, absolutely. You absolutely can. The desire and the will has to be there. Look at the oil as an example. Look at the natural gas. Could we export it to, Japan, China, India? Absolutely. Could they have a better economy? Absolutely. So, because of all of our regulations, which are killing people, I'm not saying don't care about the environment. If you are in the energy business, you are in the environment with, right. It is in your best interest to make sure that environment is taken care of. Absolutely, environment is taken care of. But at the same time, they need to go hand in hand. You can't kill one on the on backs of something else. They gotta be proper. If you incentivize the technologies, they'll come up with solutions. Look at carbon capture and storage, which was being criticized a few years ago. That is the go-to stuff right now. Right? So anything is doable given the time. So this is what I see, that, hey, we as a nation needs to start finding other partners, other customers where we can sell our products. I think we need to start diversifying our economy much more so than we are today. And only then, in the longer run, we will have a prosperous future for all Canadians.
Indeed. Uh, you have addressed almost all the concerns or the factors that everybody is concerned about. There is still a very negative sentiment towards Canada with the amongst people living in and outside who wanted to come to Canada. Do you think the situation that our country is in right now? I mean, I know things happen, the graph is like up and down, but the amount of negative sentiment right now in today's Canada is far higher. Do you think it is fixable? Oh, I just before you answered, I want it to be not political answer and as a Canadian answer, please.
No. It's not a political answer. The Canadian answer is yes. Anything's fixable. If something has gone sideways, can you fix it? Absolutely. If you say, hey, it can't be fixed, then we might as well pack our bags and go someplace else. It's up to us as Canadians, not politicians, as Canadians, to fix this, empower people, empower our politicians, hold them accountable. What they're telling you today. You brought this up. Can Pierre Poilievre deliver on some of the stuff? Hold that person accountable. The team he's building around him, hold them accountable. Send people there who can actually deliver on the promise they're promising you. Don't just do blindly that, hey, you come to my door, I'm going to vote for you. Look at the people's credentials. What do they bring to the table? And hold them accountable. Can the image be changed? Yes. If we say that, oh, well, no, we can't be changed. Nonsense. Anything. It went sideways? Yes. Because we let it happen. We let it happen. Could that been, changed few years ago in the last election? Yes. Things were already starting to go sideways. So, even though I don't want to give you a political answer, ultimately, who makes the decision? It turns out to be a where are the regulations and decisions made? Who sets the policies?
The elected governor.
The elected officials set the policies. If they're not held accountable, they'll continue doing what they're doing. They'll continue overspending your money, continue punishing you as a Canadian, continue making these rash decisions to hurt you as a Canadian ultimately.
Right.
And deteriorate our global image.
Uh, I agree with you, and on almost yes, it has been a very good session with you,
Yes.
and an informative one indeed. Thank you so very much for your time today.
No, thank you.